Welcome to the first episode of the I Am Not Worthless podcast, my weekly discussion and proof of concept that basically is going to show Penny and all the companies that didn't hire me that you're missing out. You could have had this intellect and this skill set in your life or at your company. So this week's episode, we're going to discuss social media and the pitfalls of trying to form relationships in the modern age of AI and social media. In psychology, in sociology, in basically anything that has studied human behavior, humans form bonds and trust when they are spending time with people. If it's work, it could be work, it could be church, could be school, could be your neighborhood, your apartment complex. If you're constantly being in the same room with that person or people, even if you're not even talking to them, if you're just near them, you're going to form a trust and a bond. Now, before social media, once you went home from work, once you went home from school, once you went home from your vacation, you really didn't have anything but your phone to call them. And that's if you had their number. This was before cell phones, too. But now, that proximity, the ability to be close to other people, is being faked by social media. You're basically giving people a window into your life without actually being in that person's world or orbit. So, for example, you could follow an influencer in India, whether you're in the UK, in Russia, in America, in Australia, doesn't matter. You can follow them, you can, look at their life, look at what they're maybe eating, what they're doing, and you can basically think, I'm actually getting to know this person. I'm actually becoming friends or potentially more. I mean, you might think, oh, I'm getting connection. I'm getting exposure. And it's basically driving us as humans, instead of trying to form connections, form relationships, form bonds that we can have in the physical world, we're forming more digital ones, which are centered on likes, clicks, comments, maybe subscriptions, maybe donations on Patreon. And so you're not getting the same emotional impact and emotional connection that you would get by being in person. When you're dealing with only digital, there's no emotion there. You can literally go on your computer, go on your phone, and record a 15 minute, maybe 5-second video, whatever length you need, expressing some kind of view, and then never touch that topic ever again, never touch that viewpoint ever again. And depending upon who views it, nobody might recognize you, nobody might be able to put it on you or place it as your words. And so it ends up leaving us wanting and needing real connection, real bonds with people, but we're losing the ability to form those. Because if everything is based online, where you can literally log in, say what you want to say, do what you need to do, and not worry about who's hearing it, who's seeing it, how it's going to impact them, it just makes you feel better. At least, well, either feel better or allows you to express your view without having it tied to you. Especially if your account, you don't put pictures, you don't put your name, your address, any information that could tie back to you. And people have done that. People have created and have accounts that are specifically burner accounts, and they have multiple accounts, and so we end up being surrounded by profiles and inundated by usernames and personas and not real, tangible people. Yeah, you might see somebody's vacation in the Maldives. You might see somebody's vacation to Disney World. Or you might see that for dinner they're having lasagna. But you're not actually there. You're not actually experiencing it with them in that moment. And this can even extend to more adult-themed websites. But it's the same basic concept, is you're being surrounded by profiles, inundated by pictures, inundated by things, but you're not actually there. Which takes us to the next part, which is that we have all these social medias, all this online space where we can basically connect with anybody, anywhere. But it leads to a lot of unsafe and hostility to the idea of forming real, tangible friendships. And the reason is because the platforms that you use for social media and the people that are on there to not make friends, to not make connections, but rather exploit people and go after people, they're able to do it because anybody who's on social media, most people are on there because they can't in the real world make connections. Because once again, people are losing the ability to connect, to bond, to have empathy, to have kindness, to have direction. My own personal story is from April of last year until April of this year. I thought I had met my very first girlfriend. We talked almost every day on Discord. We shared pictures. And if she asked for something, I did my best to try to accommodate and do it, even if the alarm bells were going off and the universe was telling me, red flag, red flag. I didn't see it because I felt something that I didn't feel before, which was I thought I was going to be with someone who actually wanted me for who I am. And it ended up basically being not real. The person wasn't who they said they were. And for a few days after, I had to deal with the fallout of it because they found my profile on other websites. Luckily, they only attacked me those 1 days and their accounts were immediately banned. So they weren't allowed to continue harassing me. But that threat still lingers, and that person or group of people might still be out there. Now, are they targeting me again? I don't know. Am I talking to them again? I have no idea. And that's the problem with all these social media accounts and social media websites, is that your information, your likes and dislikes, your circle, your family, whatever, it's all out there. And you can, There is different softwares and different companies that promise you, oh, you're safe, you're safe. Nobody is 100% safe online. And part of that is also because that tech companies, social media companies, as much as they say in the media that they don't, they really are trying to make clickbait. They're trying to make you want to pay money to have certain features or have certain abilities that you couldn't otherwise have. And it's also creating the divide of people who have money and the people who don't. The people who have followers and have things that they get because they have followers, and the people who don't. Which then also helps with the catfishers, the scammers, the bots, because they're able to find and target people who don't have a lot of followers, who don't have a lot of influence in the world, and create what to the victim is the illusion of choice, the illusion of they are actually being wanted. And COVID did do this as well, but because we're moving to a more digital world with AI as well, we're stripping away and destroying what you would call your third place. So, like parks, community centers, places where you can go, you don't have to have money, and you could be around other people, maybe playing board games, maybe shooting a basketball, maybe throwing a football around, throwing dodgeball, maybe just enjoying how to make pasta by hand completely. You know, all sorts of things. But because of the digital world, because of AI and society, we're losing these safe spaces, these free safe spaces. And so people are having to go online because they can't go and make connections where they used to be able to make connections. Malls were a great place for people to just spend time. Most malls now are basically dead. They don't have any shops, they don't have any customers, they don't have any reason to be open, because you can go on Amazon or other websites and buy whatever you want at any time and get it at any point in the day that you want. I mean, you could literally go to Amazon, buy a kayak, and by Friday, if you order it on Friday morning, by Friday night, you could have your kayak. So you can go kayaking that weekend. It's literally that quick. And they're even trying to make it faster with both AI and drone technologies, to where you could pretty much buy something on Amazon and get it within an hour of ordering. Walmart, Kroger, other stores have ability where if you want to pay extra, you can get your order in under 90 minutes from when you order it. 90 minutes. And I bet that number is going to go lower as we move forward in time with both technology and AI. And because we're being forced onto digital websites, because we're being forced onto social media, it allows the ability for people anywhere in the world to target and victimize, and well, not victimize, but make victims suffer. So to bring it all back and to bring the point home, like me, if you are out there struggling to make friends, struggling to find people online, struggling to find hope or reason or a light in the world, it's not you. It's not you. It is the way society is going. It is the way of the world, unfortunately. And so it's not anything to do with you. It's not anything to do with what social skills you may or may not have. And it is definitely not a sign or a show of your worthiness. Growing up, I have grown up and watched as the internet has gotten bigger and bigger, and social media with, smartphones, and like, when I growing up, the only way I could talk to people that I knew was by the phone, or if I saw them at school or the store or McDonald's or wherever out and about in the world. You're now able to access, like, I think there's over 200 social media websites. And they are designed to isolate, to make you not be able to make friends. What we need as humans, what we need as people, what we need as adults is real, valuable connections by choice. You can't force people online or in the real world to like you, to want to be around you, to want to listen to you. It requires loyalty, requires effort, and safety on both parties to work, to be effective. And if you're just basing it on clicks and likes and comments, you're not forming connection. The digital world is not taking you and the other person and putting them together to make a friendship, make a relationship even. And so if you are able to understand that you are not the problem, you are not the reason that your life is going that way. What it is the system. Instead of us living in a world where you go to work, you go to school, you meet people at church, you form friendships, you form relationships, you find your person, everything is now conjoined on the internet and under the illusion of reality, which forces us to have to rethink who we are. And what I say is that's not true. You are valuable in your own way. What you need to figure out is how. What do you bring to the table? Who are you? And what, honestly, do you want to do? So that's going to be it for this week's episode. Tune in later for my first cover. And then next week's podcast will be back on Wednesday. I was going to do it yesterday, but I had a migraine. So it's recorded today. Next week's topic will be biology related, and I'll basically discuss my thesis and also discuss the pitfalls and perils involved with trying to get a master's degree in America now in the modern age. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.